Podcast City Network. The Everett Lee Show.
Welcome to the Everett Lee Show. I'm the Everett Lee. I want to give a shout out to everyone who follows me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, Podcast City Network, official host of the Everett Lee Show. I have a great guest on the program tonight. I have none other on video chat right now, the Center Christian Mills, independent pro wrestler. How you doing there?
Thank you. Doing all right so far, man. Still a little early in the night. Nothing too much to complain about yet. So I don't know. Ask me at the end of this, and we'll see how we're doing.
Yeah, the night's still young, man. I mean, before we started rolling there, you were telling me you had a pretty much busy day today, haven't you?
Yeah, doing the shoot shit. You know how it goes. Fun life there. I was pretty busy. You know, it's always the day after Thanksgiving, just getting all the family stuff done and going back to the real world. You know how it goes. Yeah. Have a pretty good Thanksgiving? Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It was, always good family time. You know, like, honestly, being, like, even on this indie scene like this, it's still a pretty busy schedule with training and all that. And then working real jobs like this, it's like, still live a good bit away from the family. Like, they're just up in the road, up in Ocala, a little 2 hours away, and I'm down here in Orlando. So all just depends. But, like, timing lined up pretty well. And, we still got to do Thanksgiving and do all that, family stuff there. So doing all right. That's good. I had a busy yesterday, and I just pretty much had to go 3 houses yesterday. And by the end of the night, I was like, I'm done, man. I'm done. One house is all I can handle. I can only deal with my family. I couldn't imagine dealing with somebody else's. Wait till you get married. Married. Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to give you the past there. I was like, yeah, father life, parent life, marriage life. I'll give it a pass for now. Let you handle that. Yeah. You've seen my wife at the CFW shows and my little girl running around there. Absolutely. I'm there. Yeah. Fun. Yeah. I remember when she was at the July show there, and she ran up to Karma Dean, and she loved Karma Dean's outfit, and she wanted to follow her all over the place. Yeah, a lot of people loved Karma Dean's outfit. Oh, yeah. Very flashy. Flashy, yeah. Yeah. That was CFW. That was some pretty good times we had during those 9 months, man, wasn't it? Honestly, yeah, a lot of good times. I really feel like I got to develop more as a person and in the indie scene a lot more this year. It's been fun, especially thanks to CFWE and my time there. It was awesome. Yeah, it was, because we've seen some crazy shit happening. Honestly, to put it mildly, yes. Mildly, some crazy shit, yes. Yeah. I still remember the first show. I still remember that first show like it was like yesterday. I'm back there and throwing into this. No one told me how to do nothing on production. It's like, you're doing this, doing that. You're running sound. I'm over here running sound, and I'm running back over here checking the cameras, running back over here doing this. And it was hectic. And then I finally was like, okay, I'm going to have to learn this on my own. So I had to actually... Damn, man. I just came here to film today, but I don't know what all this is. Yeah. All right. I pretty much... That's one of those things. They throw you to the wolves to these kind of indie shows. So, good luck. Yeah, that was my experience there. And the one thing that sticked out of that show was that how fast the card changed. Anything can happen. I didn't realize that. And then you and the Green Bandit came out, and there was no music for you guys. I had to put that in on post-production. I honest to God, I didn't even remember there wasn't music for me until you just reminded me there. Because all I've remembered is seeing the post-production, because it's just one of those memories you try to bury in the back of your head. But it's all right. It's one of those fun to look back at kind of days. Oh yeah. Because what stuck out was you. Because watching you right there on the monitor and watching you just work in the ring, I was like, wow. I was like, who is this guy? And I asked Thumper Chapman, I'm like, who is that guy? He's like, oh, that's Christian Mills. And I was like, really? I was like, man,
I love that match he did, and he told me how long you were in the business. I'm like, no freaking way. I was like, you moved like you've been doing it forever. You've been in the ring doing it forever, man.
So that was the one thing, like, honestly, because that was back in January of this year, so it's like been a whole year now at this point. So like, and this year, like I told you earlier, like I feel like I gained my most experience and where I've had some of my best matches that I've had yet. But honestly, that's how it's always going to go. I feel like, honestly, each match you should always feel like that was your favorite match or that was one of your best matches, because you should always be striving to improve and do better. But and that's how I always took it at CFWE. It was always trying to do better. But honestly, before that, it was like I was doing bookings here with like Local Pro and little here and things there. But like it wasn't any like I didn't have any regular stays at any main promotions here in Florida yet. CFWE, I actually would say, was my first one besides Local Pro Wrestling. That was my first mainstay on the indie scene. I definitely feel like I got to develop a lot there, and it was like, honestly, it was really fun. But like, yeah, that first show, that was a lot of hecticness, a lot of changes, and then Green Bandit, oh yeah, that was a good one there. But no, yeah. I definitely do appreciate that. I definitely feel like I gained a lot of experience after that. So I mean, I definitely appreciate that you admired that then about me. So
yeah, I wasn't familiar with a lot of the talent. I think I was the only person I was familiar with was Venom, because of me going to knockout wrestling shows and talking with him, and he was pretty much one of the only workers I knew. And
maybe Bone Crusher. I think Bone Crusher was on that show too.
Yeah.
Are we not from it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Him and Venom were in the main event for the heavyweight title to crown the first CFW heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one there.
Yeah, that was. And I pretty much also was familiar with Jay Murder, because I watched some of his matches, but getting to see it like live, like there, it was just that Fatal 5-Way was just great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with that Cruiserweight, yeah, that was a good one there. I definitely watched that one back.
Yeah,
that's definitely the interesting thing about CFWE. That was one of the main places. After every show, I'd always definitely watch all the matches back on, because I always try to have the best match on any show I'm on. So I always like to see what other people did and how they did.
Yeah, it's always good, because that's one of the things that a lot of old school talent used to do, go back and watch tape. And I admire you for that, going back, watching tape, watching yourself to better yourself. It's like, what can I do different here? What can I do here? And
exactly.
Just watching that and just being a student and learning, at the same time and stuff.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I'm still really young in this, so I definitely always am wanting to find my ways to improve and just find these little nicks and kinks that I can do differently, and just find these different ways to do things and get into them. And, it's an art,
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. When you first started wrestling, watching wrestling, how old were you, and who caught your eye when you first started watching wrestling?
I was probably 9 or 10. The first person that I had seen on TV, I very vividly remember started watching was we were just flipping through, and it was an episode of Raw that came on. It just caught my eye. And I think John Cena had Batista picked up, and it was right when he attitude adjusted him off of a car, or wherever they showing a replay of that. And but it caught my eye. It's like really cool seeing something like that. My dad explained pro wrestling to me and how he watched it when he was a kid and everything. So it just became a regular thing we started watching. So I think that was around 2009, 2010. But the main guys that really had caught my eye after started looking into pro wrestling was like Jeff Hardy. That was always the guy, because like after I started watching a little bit there, I found out like maybe a few months after about TNA, because the thing was, like, I had actually already had these WWE games at this point in time, but I had never watched WWE, so I was a little familiar with like some of the people, and like obviously I went to school, and like back then, like, I'd always see people with, like, John Cena, Triple H, or like an Edge t-shirt, something like that. You'd always see those little faces on there. Right. And so I was familiar with some of the names and some of the faces, but like I wasn't that like familiar with it there. But like that was definitely the time I started watching it and started getting into like TNA, and that was I don't know, a lot of people shitted on that time at TNA, but those are my favorite times, is looking back when Hogan and Bischoff and bad Jeff Hardy being all the charismatic enigma turning into the Antichrist of professional wrestling. Like, I love that. That was my favorite, those kind of times there. But yeah, that's definitely what caught my eye, that kind of stuff. And Homicide was my other one that I always had noticed as well. Him and LAX, I always liked watching them.
Oh yeah. When TNA first started out there, man, that was great. The Asylum years, they called it there.
They had so many. Yeah, they had a lot of good times. Like, they definitely had their ups and downs, and like right now they're they're kind of like on their up and up patches here and there. Like, they're just bringing like Minoru Suzuki and everything like that, and like a lot of like good faces. So like it's looking good for them again. And like, I'm really looking at the aspect, because like that was always one of the places I strived to want to go when I was younger. I was like, man, I want to get in there and wrestle Mr. Anderson and Jeff Hardy. Like, those are my guys, man. Like, I still like have those kind of aspirations to wrestle some of these guys one day. It'd be cool. But like, just seeing what happens with time and TNA and everything in general.
Yeah. That was a really great time, and with the Cena and Batista feud, having that feud there and stuff, and that was probably about the time when Batista was like, he was like, I'm gonna quit. He's in the wheelchair. Yeah, I'm gonna quit.
I vividly remember that. It was like, I think Bret Hart was doing the GM gimmick at the time and everything. They were always having like the special GMs, and that was a little bit after they started doing that anonymous GM stuff afterwards too. And good times. But yeah, I definitely vividly remember Batista shaking in the thing, spitting all over the mic. I'll quit, and started his little Hollywood career. Good for him. I definitely, I can't knock him on that. That was definitely seems to be the good move.
Oh yeah, I mean,
only do this so long,
Yeah, why would he need to come back to wrestling? I mean, he officially retired back at, I think it was like WrestleMania 30, 35, 36, somewhere in there, and he officially retired. But I mean, he look at his movie career, man. Look at the movies he's been in, man.
Yeah, those movies, those paid a lot more than wrestling. I mean, no knock on wrestling. It's fun. It's great. It's its own form of entertainment, but like, box office bills, buddy, those. Oh yeah, those pay the bill. Those pay the bills.
Oh yeah. And even being a villain in a James Bond movie, how awesome is that, to be a villain going up against James Bond, man?
Yeah, you don't get to do all. Average person doesn't get to do that.
No. Only a certain person, certain character gets those roles, and he nailed it with doing that and playing the villain in James Bond. And I love him in Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax, I just love him, man.
They're definitely good. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely like those ones.
Oh yeah, I definitely do. When after being exposed and following TNA and Jeff Hardy and Homicide, when did you really decide you're like, I want to do this? I want to get in the ring and do what they're doing. When did you really decide that on yourself, that you wanted to do that?
It honestly wasn't until much later. 'Cause I mean, at that age, I was already like doing reckless stuff in terms of like we had like a remodeled basement, so like we had just like all our extra furniture down there and all this, and just this whole it was this extra living room essentially down there, and I would completely take the couches apart, stack them on top of each other, and then lay all the cushions on the floor and jump off of it and do my swanton bombs and my 350s and trying to just master and do all that then. So like I didn't actually like realistically being like, this is what I'm gonna do when I get old. Like, it wasn't just like something I was just, like, you just want to be cool and be like your favorite characters on TV. So it all just like, it didn't really click for me until I was probably just getting out of high school. I was like about 17, 18, about to graduate, and I had thought like that was something I was really like wanting to do. Like, my whole goal behind it is kind of like to do like Triple H, not Triple H because he didn't do it very well, but John Cena, Rock, Batista kind of move, where I do my wrestling for however long I do it and get everything out of it I can, and then eventually looking to moving into movies, because that's always what I did when I was younger, was acting and theater and stuff like that. That's what I always liked doing. I started that when I was like maybe 5. So I've always done that. And I did that all through high school and all my life. That's just something I was aspired. So like, I guess that was the way I looked at it, was that I was like, I feel like wrestling would be a good start and get eyes on me and on like a platform, because I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that want to be a wrestler, but there's a lot more people that want to be an actor. And so, I mean, however I had to do it, and it was something I was passionate about and something I felt like I could be good at. So I just went for it and decided to start saving up right when I got out of high school, saved up for a good year to pay off a whole lifetime tuition at a wrestling school, and went from there.
Nice. What was your first match like, and who did you face in the ring when you had your first match after getting out of school? Who'd you go up against?
So that's actually kind of a hard one to remember, because when I was at the school I was at, they put on their own shows or whatever. So like for me, I actually remember like the first match I had was there. It was against Brian Atomic. But outside, once I finally did like doing outside of the school bookings, I think my first one was probably against like maybe Sam C or someone like that. But yeah, in terms of just a first match that I like actually like remember well, and like just like the nerves and everything, because I'm sure like that's what it's all referring to, is just like the nerves and how it all felt, and that's what it was. Like that first show you go out there for. They sent us out there with no music. It was quiet. The people don't know who we are. We're just 3 random people. Even the ref, they didn't know who the ref was. They didn't know who the 2 wrestlers were. In fact, one of the wrestlers was one of the refs that were on the ref, like the last show they came to. So, like, I never did that phase. I never had my ref phase. I've literally only refed 1 match ever, and I don't even think there's video footage of it. So no, it's just with that, it was definitely very nerve-wracking just getting out there and just be like, all right, here we are, this is us, just being out here. But like at the same time, it was just with my theater stuff, I was just pretty comfortable. Just ignore the people, do what you're doing in here. They're here to see you. I don't have to focus on you. I'm here for me. Like I'm paid to be here. I'm doing this. You're here. Like, yeah, now it's like I have different mindsets of how I go into it, but like that's how I was just focusing on, like, just worry about this, worry about the here and the now. Don't worry about what these people are saying. Don't worry about what they're thinking, because they're gonna chant whatever. Like, I remember one of the first like insults, the first chance I was getting was like Chicken Little. They're like, come on, Chicken Little, let's go. So like I definitely remember that one. I was like, oh, not Chicken Little, no. No, so it was all right. Well, it didn't go too bad. There wasn't any of those bad like spots where you're just standing there not knowing what to do. Like it flowed, it went, and it happened. You know, I've definitely way better now, but yeah, it was. I waited a while before I had my first match. I wasn't one of the people that were there for a month and I was like, I have gear, I'm ready to go, put me on a show, coach. I waited until I had the gear I wanted and like had the ability that I was comfortable with to go in there, and I felt like I waited a proper amount of time.
That's good. That's good. You took your time to get into it, and once you did, you pretty much took off there. And how was it at that time after getting out and getting booked on shows? Was that easy for you, or was that hard for you to try to like pitch to a promoter? It's like, hey, I'm Christian Mills, I'm this age and I've done this, how'd that go about for you?
Very hard. It was very hard to first start that, because like, I mean, I don't keep it a secret. Like, it's not a secret of the school I came from. I was trained at the Team Vision Dojo, and everyone does with that information as you will. But with that, there was opportunities that were kind of held down for me because of where you come from and all of that. But I don't like try to indulge on that. Like I didn't focus on that. What I wanted to do, I wanted people to see my ability and just see what I was capable of and just focus on that, because that's all that matters, is what I'm here doing, what I'm able to do. Like, this is this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what that's all I'm here advocating for myself. I'm not here being like, hey, bring these guys in, do this. This is my guys from this school, or this is my coach here. Like, I want to do this. Like, my coach is like, no, I just like, this is just coming here and like just vouching for myself. And like, it was one of those things that's like, just because, it's when you're that new, like I've been working this long and so, the first thing they're always asking is, where were you trained from, and this and that, and like, let me see some of your recent matches. And when you're sending them recent matches and they see where it's at or whatever, it's like some places are gonna just not even acknowledge you. So it's one of those things, like, it's been over time where I have slowly but surely, I should say, got on just about almost everywhere in Florida. I think there's pretty much about maybe 3 or 4 promotions that I haven't been on yet, but for all the mainstay promotions here in Florida, I've pretty much hit them all by now. It took some time to get there, but I mean, eventually, like, I've kind of earned some respect here and there.
Yeah. I would say that it's hard starting out though, but once that ball starts going, you're able to actually get booked on a match.
Oh, it's always about who you know. It's always what it is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like, it's like, if I would have came from somewhere else, like, trust me, like, if I would have been trained at Nightmare Factory, I probably would have had like 4 or 7 matches on Dark by now. Like, I might be a regular stay on there, like, or if you came from like CCW, I might be all over down there or something. It all just depends on who you know, like, who the hands you shake first and whatnot, and who you eventually get to meet. So
yeah,
it's all about connections, and eventually, it's all about.
Yeah. And being at CWE, you developed he took you underneath his wing, Thump Dupree. How's that been, actually learning and picking his mind with the wrestling business? How's that been for you?
It's been really great, because I mean, I've really been surrounded by like a lot of good minds to like just like give me a lot of good influence for the business. Like, I was very close with like Larry Zbysko for a while, so he always like would critique my matches and critique a lot of the things I was doing. Like, he was always at the school, so he would like, I'd always want his input and try extra hard for him. And like, I'd always do the same with Thump Dupree. Like, I'd always want like his feedback, like, see what he hears. Like, I'm not gonna pester him and bug him, like, 'cause I know how he has so many other people that do the same thing. It's like, I'll hear it eventually. Like, how was the match? Like, I mean, I just want to know if it was good or bad. Like, if it was a stinker, tell me. Like, I mean, but it's definitely been really great. I mean, he's an interesting car ride, but
I've heard
just an interesting character all around. Yeah. He's a guy. He's a good guy.
He is.
Yeah, definitely. He's been a really great mentor to have around, and definitely couldn't imagine having anybody else like leading the way right now. Like, it's been really great.
Yeah, Thump Dupree, he's really good. I just listen to him, with stories and stuff, and he is a great car ride, because I've taken him a few times to a CWE show, and
never runs out of stories.
Nope. I never.
There's never dead silence in that car. We have something to talk about.
Except one time, Christian, when he rode back with me. I think it was at the August or September show. He was so tired.
Riding back is a different story.
Yeah.
Riding there is, that's the one ride. Riding back is that's the thump you get.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sitting there, I'm looking over, and I'm anxious just for the hell of it, just kind of hit the brakes real quick.
It doesn't work much. I try, I'll hit every pothole, I'll hit every swerve and turn and slow down and hit it. And he's just bobbing and weaving in my car. But like, the thing is, my car is a little more compact, so like, he's like all over me when he's knocked out sometimes. Like, it's good. I know he's had a long day sometimes. Like, a lot of people bother him and ask him a lot of stupid questions. So
I
let him be.
Yeah, his phone blows up like crazy, man. Have you been, when he's riding with you, he's like on the phone, he's talking, and then just phone call.
The amount of stupid phone calls I have heard, yes. I'm not going to get into that because that's not my business. Yeah. What phone calls I have heard and haven't heard, but a lot of interesting ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's like, he was talking with me, and then he's like, hold on, and he's like, hey, get on the call there, and I'm driving, and it finally gets off. He's like, life of being a booker.
Yeah.
He definitely is. You've, going, like, talking about different promotions, what promotions have you worked for here in the last couple years? What promotions have you been in?
So I have been at, let's see here. Let's start off for CFWE. I was at Knockout, let's say local pro wrestling, Division Pro Wrestling, FEW. What was the other one there? I just recently worked for Atomic Wrestling. I think there's probably like maybe one or two more, but I just can't remember. But I know there's like Shadow Pro Wrestling, and there's always a couple more that you try to remember. But there's like a few other little things that have popped up here and there that were just like kind of one-offs. But like Pro Wrestling Resurrected is another place that's about to come up in Florida soon, which will be another place I pop up. And then EGCW is another place that I've had a few appearances at, and I'll be making another return to coming up in January as well. So yeah, besides that, I can't really think of any other ones, but I mean, I'm sure I'm missing something that I'm going to hear about in the comments, or someone's going to message me. How could you forget us? Where I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm trying to remember the CCWs, the FEWs, the WWEs, the CCO. There's a lot of letters to remember.
Yeah. There's a lot of abbreviations to remember with a lot of the promotions and stuff. You said ARW. I've been watching ARW, man. Damn. You had some pretty good matches, man, and what I've been seeing you do in the ring, because every time I see you in the ring, I think back when I first seen you in CWE and how far you've come, and it's just you out of nowhere, you'll pull out a spot and it's like, whoa, didn't see that coming, man.
I definitely do appreciate that. That's kind of what I strive for, because I try to keep everything very moderate, but like cool moderate. Like I don't want to oversaturate an audience. That's always my goal. I don't want to give them too much of a good thing, because it's like you don't know what you're supposed to like. I mean, like I like to do different cool things, and I mean sometimes I'll do a match and I won't do anything cool. Everything that I'll just work me. I'll just do me and just do whatever chain wrestling. Some people, I'll get to the back and someone's like, "Dude, that movie you did out there, that was really cool." I'm like, "I was just wrestling, man. It was just wrestling."
Yeah,
I was like, it wasn't even a spot. But no, I say that's definitely why I try to keep it different, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I like some of the stuff that you pulled out when you were doing the Fatal 4-Way matches, CFWE there, especially when you had that match with Dante the Dragon Steel, Jerry Swirls, El Guapo, and yourself there, man. That was
Guapo. Yeah, those were interesting times. Yeah, no, that was a fun 4-way, to say the least. All that matters is I won, so we can leave it at that. But yeah, no, it was all right. They were definitely would like to work Dante and Jerry again one day. Probably not Guapo; he can go to hell. But yeah, no, those were nice. Those were nice.
Yeah, and with ARW, you were in the tag match there against the OnlyFans. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Only cams, yeah.
Yeah, the Only Cams. Yeah, that was definitely a fun match for us. So yeah, I definitely pulled some different little things up there, trying some different things. That was one of the bigger audiences I've competed in front of. So that was a fun opportunity that I definitely appreciate Jason Dugan and Alex Red for giving me that opportunity there. I definitely strive to be back there eventually. It was fun match. Not much to complain about. Definitely wish I would have beaten them, but just came up a little short. But it is all right. Maybe next time.
Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive more into the conversation right here. But first, there's a couple things I do want to mention. Keep up with the latest shows and content from Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net. Follow them on Facebook.com/Podcast City Network, Twitter @PodcastCityNet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Podcast City Network, on Twitch, Podcast City Network. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself. Whether it's a sticker for your car, a t-shirt for that special someone, or a neck garter to keep safe during COVID-19, Podcast City Network has you covered. Grab the latest PCN gear today at podcastcity.net/shop to show your support for your favorite show or shows from Podcast City Network today. Want to start a podcast? Trying to grow your current show? Podcast City Network is here to help. We currently offer services for social media advertising, marketing, live stream hosting, custom logo design and branding, transcript services, custom intro and outro videos, audio-video editing, press kits, one-on-one consultings, and much more. So don't wait. Contact us today. podcastcity.net/services. Head over to the website, fill out the form, get in contact with Podcast City Network. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast but didn't know how? Do you already have a podcast but you don't know how to grow it? Are you trying to find ways to make your podcast profitable? You can learn how to do it here at Podcast City Network. We offer consultant services, tutorial classes to help with learning to better expand your knowledge to grow your show. We also give access to our network of shows to help with cross-promotions, guests, and overall reach while becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. The best part is no membership fee. So what are you waiting for? Fill out the contact form below right here over on podcastcity.net/join now and sign up today. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself.
You're listening to the Everett Lee Show.
A few weeks ago, I was at Knockout Resolution there, and I did see your match against Gus Money. Am I saying that correctly? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Gus Money.
Hell of a match, man. Hell of a match there. Especially, I like how the flow of the match went with the chain wrestling to some good, spots here and there. But the one spot that got me was when you sprungboard off the ropes there and you got a hold of Gus and right into a German suplex. I'm like, holy shit, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, I actually haven't even watched that match back yet. I haven't gotten the footage yet, so I remember some of the things here and there. But yeah, that was one of the things I do remember. I thought that was a pretty cool little thing there. I tried to do little different things. I mean, I don't know. When people see a springboard, they're expecting like, drop kicks, close on something, like, they're expecting you to hit something as soon as you're landing. You know what I mean? Like you're diving into something. So I just try to do little different bait and switches, little different things here and there, just trick the mind up, Yeah. But yeah, that was actually originally I was going to go for a full Nelson suplex, or like I usually do, or I think it's Big Dragon. But yeah,
yeah,
German works too.
Yeah, it certainly did. It certainly did, man. It did. And Gus, man, he's pretty tough opponent in the ring.
Hell of an opponent. Cannot complain. Definitely, maybe run it back with him again. I don't like the way it ended. Definitely. We had a good back and forth match, and then for it to end with a no contest. I mean, we both kind of busted our asses right there, and I fucking hit my neck and my head a little bit, and I'm sure he busted up a little bit. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him. He was already being helped in the back and everything, so didn't really get a chance to talk to him. But I hope he's okay. But I still would like to officially beat him one day. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to see round 2 of that one right there. Definitely would, because That was a good show. The main event was great with
great main event.
Oh God, yeah, with
Angus and Brian Idol. Yeah, that was can't forget that one. Those were great guys. Those great minds of the business.
I was sitting in over on the production over next to Thump and Drake Xavier on commentary, and damn, I thought they were about to come over our way and tear up the section over there.
Please don't mess up our expensive equipment.
Yeah, Thumper Chapman's equipment. Don't tear it up.
You son of a bitch! You broke my shit. No, I can already imagine the speech he made. Now you're gonna have to pay for all that. Well, that was my chair too. I'm ready. I was waiting on that one. So please don't break this down.
So, what the hell is it with him, man? Him always saying that his dick's bigger than yours. I gotta bring that up.
The saying goes is my dick is bigger than Christian Mills. Not that his dick's bigger than mine. It's just his dick is bigger than me as a person, apparently. And I have never asked for proof because I do not care for proof. But let him have his little saying. I'll let him have his t-shirts. He gave me a t-shirt. I'll let him have it. It's fine. I let it be. I was hoping if I didn't embrace it or didn't fight it too hard, it would just disappear, but it has just slowly morphed into its own thing. It's a saying. You know, it's catchphrase. Got to keep it. All right.
It's popped up on the King and Queen of Trash Talk, the virtual meme experience.
Yeah, I saw that. You sent me that version, the one that popped up before, and I did not think it was going to make its way on my class. I was like, you guys can post it. No, don't post it. But it made its way. Way.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to Thumper about it, and pretty much it was like, okay, we need to fill in some spots here, some breaks, and it was perfect for the breaks that we needed to do it there. And so it was like, what are we going to fill in? It was like, we've already went this far over to this direction with this shit.
Yeah, let's throw it all to the fan, all of it. Let's just go for it. See what happens. See if anything sticks.
What the hell did you think about that, man? Seeing how that turned out that way.
That was it. Turned out way better after you put it together. I liked it after you did your touch. It was interesting. Yeah. It was definitely interesting. I think it had the potential to be something really cool, and it could. I think it still was for what it came out to be after everything was all said and done. Everything's put together. I liked it. I think it was fine, and it was worth it in the end. But when I was there watching, I was like, man, this is not what I thought I was going to be. Interesting, and I was ready to wrestle. Let me just say that. Nights like that, when it's shows started that late, I am ready to wrestle and go home.
Yeah.
I'm a working guy. I've usually worked that day and I work the next day. So I'm like, let's get her show on.
Yeah.
Get her going.
It sounded good on paper because when we all talked about it, it's like, okay, this is going to be great. So when it came out there, when it came time to do it, it was afterwards. It's like, no, man, don't even put that out. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, don't even put that out. And I went back and watched footage. I'm like, man, this needs something. And of course, the story was Jerry Boggle came over, and we were sitting there watching TV one night on Pluto TV, and we're flipping through the channel there, and all of a sudden there's Blind Date, and Jerry's like, in his English accent, what the fuck is this shit? And I said, Blind Date, man. You never seen this? No, what is it? And then we're watching it, and all the stuff popping up, and he's dying laughing, and he's like, oh, man, I felt bad for that fucking wank guy there. You know, just going on and on, and just dying laughing, and he's like, you got the footage? I was like, yeah. And he's like, send me some of it. Okay. So I sent it to him, and then a few weeks later, he sends it back, and he's like, added stuff, and he's like, can you add more to this? I'm like, yeah, what do you have in mind? And he sent me all this like animation. He's like, a whole thing, and he's like, pick whatever. So I'm going through like footage of like green screen effects and memes and everything, and I'm like, what the hell? Where did he find this stuff? And I just threw some stuff there, and I sent it back, and he was like, cheers. And that's all he said. I'm like, is that good or bad? You know, and
he's
then I'm like, okay. And then he sends it back to me, and then he's like, touch it up. So I went through and I touched it up, and boom, that was pretty much it. I had to do some last minute stuff there, and I sent it back to him, and he was like, cheers. I'm like, good or bad? And he's like, good. I'm like, all right. So cool. gave it to the Thumper, and Thumper's like, didn't hear nothing. And then like a couple days later, he's like, man, that's the funniest shit I ever seen. I'm like, all right, he likes it. It's going out. Yeah. So that's how that happened there. And I know like it stirred up some stuff with everyone in the group chat there about trash talk. It's like, well, CFWE's
just a misunderstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, they misunderstood it. I don't know if you saw that. Like a couple of people, got a little bit,
I'm in too many wrestling group chats. I muted them all. I'm not active in any of them. I have it set where my name's mentioned. I pop in. I'll look. Okay, my name's here. Here I am. Okay, cool. I'll respond. Haha. Goodbye. And that is like, yes, I am available. That is the basis of my interactions there. But no, I always do. I'll peep through and just see if anybody's arguing, see if somebody got kicked out, see who we're hating now. Like, oh no, we do not do business with that son of a bitch no more. So I'm like, so I just gotta see. But no, but I definitely did people that
they didn't get it.
Nope.
Yeah, they didn't get it, and I tried to explain it best I could, and it's like, okay, you're just gonna have to see it. And I'm explaining it's the Thump, and I showed it the Thump, and he's like, what the fuck is this? That's what he told me. He's like, what the hell is that?
What do you do to this?
Yeah, he looked at it, and he's like, man, he's like, whatever. He's like, this is crazy.
It came out good. I don't think they had any complaints. I mean, it was a nice little configuration there. I liked it. It was really funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was definitely really good. And one of the things, I mean, there's still 2 more things that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. I mean, December 11th, the Best of Christian Mills Center Collection's coming out. How do you feel about that, man?
Yeah, I've been looking forward to watching that, man. It's like, I am my biggest fan, so I'm definitely looking forward to watching that. Like, they'll definitely get a few hundred views out of me at least. But no, it's definitely going to be good. I mean, I definitely appreciate getting showcased like that. It's definitely good, and whatever eyes it brings, can't complain. It's always good. I mean, any publicity is good publicity to me. I don't mind.
Oh yeah,
ain't no such thing as bad publicity. Everyone says there is, but there really isn't.
Yeah, especially with since this is fresh on my mind, because I've been reading it here the last few days. I want to bring up to your attention with WWE, AEW. WWE releasing a lot of this talent. They've released a lot of good talent too. I read that
they released 80 superstars this year. 80.
Damn.
And just this year, and the year's not over. We still got a whole nother month, and they got them Christmas cuts coming.
Oh yeah.
It's like monthly. We have a few more cuts, so I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we heard something mid next month. Of just like, hey, release 4 more guys. We don't have to give them a Christmas bonus. Have a good day.
I know it's bad. I mean, it's almost reminds me of the cuts they did back in the late 80s, early 90s. They did some cuts in 89, 90. They did a bunch of cuts, and people forgot about that then. But with these cuts and everything, when you hear about someone getting cut, like John Morrison, I'm gonna throw his name out there. He's fresh on my mind. For example, John Morrison gets cut. It's like, whoa! I didn't see that coming. You know?
Yeah, no, he wasn't the one I was expecting. I mean, there's like a lot of names that are like just throughout this year that you just wouldn't have expected that are now stars in other companies and doing big things, or they're going to be a star in another company very soon. And like the list goes on all day, because like they're current. I don't know if they're current champion. Actually, yeah, some of them, they might be like tag team champions over there or something. Like you got like Andrade, you got Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, lots of just big names like that they just let slip through the cracks. And like you got like Daniel Bryan. I think he went out on his own terms there, but like there's a lot of guys that just kind of like, how do you lose this guy? And like I was reading somewhere by February of next year, like you have like guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Johnny Gargano, and I think there was somebody else that their contracts all expire in February of next year. And it's like, are they going to resign? Like those are some names to be losing there. And it's like, I don't know, they just brought back Morrison, and that was like kind of surprising to see him go. I was like, Johnny Drip Drip, come on, what's happening? I was like, where are you going? But no, I mean, it'll just be one of those things. Like, I mean, everyone sees all these releases like, oh, how could they do this? But like, I'm kind of excited. I mean, the indies are going to thrive again. I mean, like the indies have been they got kind of like scraped of all of their talent. Like, then there's like good guys out here, but like back in the day, back in like 2017, 18, you had like the PWG over in California, that they always had like guys out there, like you had Lucha Bros, you had Young Bucks, you had all these unsigned guys that were still out there all the time. And like the list goes on for that one, because everybody and their mama has been over there.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's so many guys, but like those were just our normal like indie guys. We had like Riddle and Ricochet and everybody that was just like always like out on the indies. You'd see like Keith Lee and all these guys that were just like your staples of indie scenes. And then like fast forward to 2021 or whatever it is, like everybody signed to a contract. Everybody has these deals. And like, you know, AEW has like their like stick where they'll let you go and take these outside bookings, but they're still like signed talent, so you're not going to see them pop up on these little indie scenes like that. Like when you're signed like that, someone has to pay big bucks to get you there. You're not just a normal indie guy.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, for example, you said a lot of the talent that's able to go out for AEW and do stuff. Defy Wrestling, one of my favorite promotions out of Seattle. I love watching Defy Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Eddie Kingston's going to be doing a show. I think he's doing something. I know John Moxley was going to be doing something before he went into rehab. He was going to do an angle on Defy. I was looking forward to that, man. I was. Yeah.
They definitely do good stuff over there. I definitely like watching some other stuff. That's where actually I was like kind of like how I became familiar with like Eddie Kingston and stuff like that. So all just really cool.
Well, I love Eddie Kingston, man. You know what I love? I love his work in the ring, but I really love his commentary. Die laughing with his commentary.
I think he's way better on the stick. I definitely think he's really good on the stick. Any sort of mic, put a mic in front of him, whether it's on commentary in the ring, he's really good. I definitely think he has really great mic skills and character work with that.
Oh yeah, he's great. And I started gravitating towards more him when he started showing up at Moxley and stuff. I'm like, Eddie Kingston, and then I started looking back at some stuff with promotions. I'm like, dude, I love this guy. And then hearing him on the stick, I'm like, this is even better. And I love that match he had with CM Punk at Full Gear.
Yeah, that was a very good match. That was one of the only times you'll hear Punk getting booed like that, just because people were liking Kingston that much. I was like, it was good. That was really good stuff. And like, I mean, I just really like everything that's going on with Punk. I was always one of the big CM Punk fans when I was younger, so it's just nice seeing him come back. Like, I mean, it was one of those things that people were like, oh, it's not happening. But like, here it is. Just it's a normal thing, and now I don't know how people just pretend it's normal. Like, I'm like, bro, CM Punk is back, bro. That's cool. It's something for people don't mark out on again, you know? It's like, I don't mark out for anything. Like, I mean, I don't even mark out for that. It's cool, but I mean, like, it's one of those things. Like, I was like, come on, pop, guys.
It is. And you figured eventually he'd be going back to WWE, but no, it's AEW, and he thought it out before he did, because this was in the works for like almost 2 years, because he has to look at everything at all angles, and if he's 100% sure, he's going to do it. If he's not,
he waited.
Yeah, I think he did the smart thing.
Yeah, that was perfect. He didn't just jump back into going back to WWE, hating it again, and then never doing it again. Like, I mean, he waited till there was a whole new fish in the sea and just tried it out. It worked out pretty well. It's been going pretty good, and I'm really looking forward to the kind of stuff that guys like him and Brian and Pac and Andrade are doing over there. Like, I mean, definitely some of the guys I watch there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like Jungle Boy. I like Darby Allin. I like Darby Allin because he has Sting with him, and I grew up watching Sting. Sting's always been my guy, even in WCW days, man. With him and Flair having hell of a matches, and when he did the Crow look, I love that. Sting just showing up out of the Raptors, coming down, feuding with the NWO. I love that.
Still blows my mind and blows my dad's mind that he still wrestles. I mean, he's not doing a whole lot right now, but I mean, he's still wrestling. Like, he's still doing it. Like, I mean, it's like, damn. It's like, man, we could have got that Undertaker Sting match, man. We could have gotten that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was another opportunity that WWE messed up years ago. I don't know if you remember this. Remember when Nature Boy Ric Flair first showed up in '92 in WWE after he left WCW there? Yep. Hulk Hogan was the biggest guy at the time.
Yeah, and they could have done that.
Yeah, they messed it up, but they actually, WCW capitalized on it, because in '94 when Hogan got back in the wrestling, he went to WCW. They had Hogan versus Flair, the match everyone wanted to see. Yeah.
Yep. They were smart on that one. Match everybody wanted to see. I mean, not exactly where they wanted to see that, but they're like, all right, whatever, it's here. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely got that. I'd have to say my favorite like modern match with Sting was when he did it WrestleMania 31 when he wrestled against Triple H. He had DX versus NWO. That was
pretty cool. That was one of those ones you're like, oh man, bookers being too high on themselves. Yeah. It's like, that's where Sting should have got that bag.
Yeah,
should have got that.
Yeah.
Well, just, you know, is what it is. I want to work for these places one day, so I'm not going to say nothing bad.
Now, talking about working at one of these places one day, who would you eventually one day like to step in a ring with? Who would you see right across from you in a ring? Who do you picture, and your dream match? Who would that be?
When I was just wanting to become a wrestler, I guess my dream match was always like Jeff Hardy, but in a realistic like form of like soon in like the near future, or like, you know, maybe even like a one day kind of thing. Cause like, I mean, I don't necessarily see that coming. Like, I mean, I think he probably has a few more years left, and I don't think there's going to be a thing that's going to line up like that in time. But like for a realistic time period, I think a guy that like I definitely could see myself like being across the ring against, and I hear it pretty often, is Darby Allin. I definitely would think that would probably be the match that would probably like I definitely would like to have, and I definitely could see that as a possibility if he doesn't kill himself before we get to do it. I was like, definitely that's definitely the one I hear a lot. And then I guess another one would probably be like Andrade, just because like I really admire his work, and like I definitely think I could do some magic there. And then, you know, and if we're just, you know, shoehorning like dream matches there, I guess Mysterio would be the other last guy while he still has like a few years of still doing his thing here. Like, I mean, just I really just respect like really good like technique in wrestling, and just being able to do these cool things but not having to do them all the time.
Right.
So all just depends.
Yeah. Andrade and Johnny Gargano, they had a hell of a match, man, from NXT. That match, when I see him, I still think of that match to this day.
Yeah, they definitely had really good matches. The matches I always think about is like just the classic matches that Andrade was putting on with Mysterio. They just were doing them on Raw, like, and SmackDown. Like, they just put them on. Like, that was for like a few month feud that they were doing, and every single match was like better than the last, and it was really good. And it was like, I was like, damn, how did they just come up with some of this? It's really great.
Yeah. I like a lot of the Lucha Libre matches, man. I was watching Defy Wrestling. I was watching, remember La Parka? Remember him?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, him and his son.
I watched a lot of MLW.
Him and his son went up and did a match. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who it was against, though, in Defy Wrestling. Dude, they tore the house down with that tag match, man. It was great.
Oh, yeah. So he's still at it. I still watched him in MLW for quite a while. He was definitely a good little thing over there. So that's definitely one of the promotions I like to keep my eye out on.
Oh yeah,
they do a lot of cool things. Yeah,
MLW. Yeah, I remember my nephew went to an MLW show here out in Orlando, and his friend was with him. And during the match, he sent me a video. His friend got the staple gun and got to staple some dude in the head.
Was it during a Jimmy Havoc match?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I was literally there at that show, because that was when they were at Guilt and everything, nightclub, and I come down here. It was fun.
Yeah,
so definitely there was some good stuff there.
Oh yeah,
at least a good memory to bring up with Jimmy Havoc.
God rest his soul, man. Well, one last thing I do want to ask you, because we're about to wrap it up here, is the year's almost over. We got one more month for 2020. What's going to be happening with the Center Christian Mills at the end of this year, and what should people look forward to with you for 2022?
I mean, in terms of the end of this year, I think the main thing to watch out for is going to be the Best of Center collection. I definitely think that's going to be something people should keep their eye out on, just because I would like a lot of people to see the progress that was made for me as well. I mean, even if they skip past the first one, first two, like, it's okay. Like, it's great after that. Like, I mean, I definitely had a really great time there, and like, I definitely think that would be something that people should keep their eye out on and seeing the progress there. In terms of other stuff I got going on, I mean, definitely just always be keeping an eye out, because I'm always promoting my shows. I try to always cut a promo for whatever show I'm on. I mean, I hear a lot of good things about a lot of my promo stuff, so I always try to like keep them up and keep them going, just to give that content there. But in terms of that, on December 11th, I have like Knockout Pro Wrestling, where I'll be doing a very cool match. They're going to be announcing it very soon, and by the time this comes out, this will be announced as well. It's going to be a Vapor Act brawl between myself and John Strange, where the loser of the match will be tased and taken out in a straitjacket. So I have no intentions of losing that match, and I have no intentions of getting tased. So that will definitely be a cool match to watch out for over at Knockout Pro Wrestling on December 11th. And then, I mean, just always keeping up and watching out. I believe on December 4th, I'll be popping over at Local Pro Wrestling and doing some cool stuff there. But for 2022, I'm definitely going to be keeping just as busy as well. I mean, each year I always like say like, this is going to be the year I'm just going to calm down a little bit and not do too much. I'm just maybe going to wrestle 1 or 2 shows a month, and then I'll be all right. But every month I'm always working 4 to 6 shows, and it's fun. I enjoy it. So next year is going to be, I already have a lot of bookings already set up all the way through August of next year. So it's definitely going to be a fun year next year too. So definitely keep an eye on that, man. It's going to be cool.
Nice. Thank you, Christian, for coming on here on the Everett Lee Show. And where can people find you on social media?
Social media, it's always going to be just the Christian Mills on Instagram, and then Christian Mills on Facebook, and Christian Mills on Instagram. Or not Instagram, but Twitter. I do believe I just go by the Christian Mills 777 on there or something like that. And if you're ever feeling generous in your heart, it's Christian Mills 777 on Cash App as well. So plug that one as well. But definitely. Most of my content's always going to be on Facebook and Instagram, so always keep a look out there. And then I do have a YouTube where I post some of my matches as well. But always, if you're ever looking to see some matches, just YouTube search Christian Mills Wrestling, and even if it's not posted by me, you'll see a lot of good content there. But yeah, definitely always good to keep an eye out there.
Nice. Any last words for anyone you'll be facing in the ring here soon? I mean, you mentioned one person, but any last words?
John Strange. That'll be a great match there. Honestly, I don't like when they do this thing where they call me crazy and they put me with another crazy person, because it just, I don't like how they identify it as crazy, because just because people like me and him think different doesn't make us crazy, and doesn't mean either of us need to be paper acted or in a straitjacket. Let's just be quite frank. If they want to get real, we can get real. But I think it's unnecessary. But if that's what they want, that's what's going to happen. And I'm not being paper acted. Simple as that. I'm not. He can be paper acted. He's way more crazy. He already is out in the robe, and he's like an escape asylum person. So he can go back to his place. That is not for me. Simple as that. So that's my final word. And that's for Knockout Wrestling. That is not for John Strange. That is directed at Knockout Wrestling for thinking that any of us need to be paper acted. It's ridiculous. Other than that, this was great.
All right. Thank you so much. And that's it for the Everett Lee Show. Follow Everett Lee over on social media, Facebook, Everett Lee Show, Twitter, at the Everett _Lee, Instagram, Everett Lee, and on YouTube, Everett Lee, and of course Podcast City Network. Can't forget them. Shout out the Podcast City Network, the amazing shows over on podcastcity.net. Everyone have a good night and a good week. We'll see you again next time for another episode of the Everett Lee Show.